Hello and welcome back to The Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're embarking on a really captivating exploration. We're taking a deep dive into, well, the very language of learning itself. We're talking about an advanced word list, specifically curated, designed to illuminate the intricate, sometimes complex world of education.
It's a fascinating area, definitely.
Our mission today, it's to unpack over 30 C1 level words related to education. But this isn't just about definitions.
Oh,
right?
not at all. Much more than that.
Exactly. We're delving deep into their context, their subtle implications, and really how mastering them helps us navigate everything from, say, the administrative side of schools to the nuanced debates you hear in academic circles.
Right, the discourse itself.
Precisely. So whether you're listening to refine your understanding for maybe a crucial meeting, or perhaps you're exploring a new field, or maybe you're just driven by that innate curiosity about the specific vocabulary that shapes how we talk about learning, well, this is your shortcut, your way to being truly well-informed. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's particularly insightful here, I think, is how these individual words, when you really grasp them fully, they paint a much richer, more intricate picture of the whole educational landscape.
A richer picture, I like that.
Yeah, we'll be looking, far beyond just simple dictionary entries. We want to uncover how these terms reflect deep-seated systems, the diverse roles people actually inhabit, and that complex tapestry of experiences woven within learning environments.
Yeah.
Each word, really, in its own right, offers a chance for one of those aha moments, revealing subtle distinctions that are absolutely crucial for precise communication and ultimately for a much deeper comprehension of this vast world of education.
Fantastic. Those aha moments are what we're after. All right, let's kick things off. Section 1, the core cast people and roles in education. Let's begin our exploration by looking at the core cast, the key players you'll encounter in pretty much any educational setting. We'll start right at the top with leadership, then move through those who maintain the actual environment, and even consider individuals navigating maybe alternative educational paths.
Sounds like a good plan.
First up, the principal. Okay, this noun refers to the person in charge of running a school. Pretty straightforward, maybe. Our material gives a clear example. The principal introduced a new program to support teachers in the classroom. Now, when we think about a principal, maybe we picture someone overseeing the day-to-day stuff, but their role has really evolved quite significantly, hasn't it? What's the true modern scope of their influence?
That's a great point. One crucial aspect to consider is how the principal's role has transformed.
Yeah.
It's gone from mainly administrative oversight into something demanding really astute crisis management and incredible adaptability.
Crisis management, huh?
Absolutely. They're often right on the front lines, navigating everything from, say, mental health challenges among students to rapid shifts in educational technology and even complex community relations. It's huge.
Wow.
So when a principal introduces a new program like that example of supporting teachers, it's not just a management decision. It's actually a strategic move. It reflects a blend of pedagogical foresight and community building.
So it's vision as well as management.
Exactly. Their leadership fundamentally shapes the entire institutional culture. It impacts everything from student engagement right through to teacher retention. It's an immense responsibility, really embodying the institution's resilience and its overall vision.
It sounds like an absolutely immense amount of responsibility. Do you think there's a risk, though, that a principal's focus might lean too heavily on the administrative side, maybe sometimes overlooking the day-to-day pedagogical needs of teachers and students?
That's a very keen observation. It's a constant balancing act, truly. The administrative demands are significant, from budgets to facilities, regulations.
The paperwork alone must be huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
However, the most effective principals, the really great ones, are those who maintain a strong connection to the instructional core of the school. They understand that their primary role, beyond managing the nuts and bolts, is really to foster an environment where teaching and learning can genuinely flourish.
Okay.
And this often involves delegating administrative tasks where possible, sure, but always keeping an eye on the curriculum, on teacher development, and definitely on student outcomes. It truly demands a holistic perspective. It's not easy.
That makes perfect sense, a holistic view. And speaking of that instructional core, let's move to the next term, educator. Now, this noun refers to someone whose job is to teach people. The example given really highlights its broad applicability. The museum offers educational programs led by educators to engage visitors of all ages.
Right.
So how does educator compare or contrast with simply teacher? It feels like it encompasses much more than just a classroom role.
It absolutely does. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the term educator often implies a much broader and expanded scope beyond the traditional K through 12 classroom setting.
So not just schools.
Exactly. While every teacher is, by definition, an educator, not all educators are traditional classroom teachers. As that museum example vividly illustrates, an educator can work in a whole myriad of informal learning environments. Think museums, zoos, community centers, online platforms, even corporate training settings.
Right, corporate training too.
Yeah. The term often suggests a broader, maybe even a philosophical dedication to lifelong learning, a passion for imparting knowledge and really fostering curiosity, regardless of the specific setting or the age group they're engaging with. It highlights the vast and diverse spaces where true teaching and learning actually happen, often far beyond formal institutions.
So the educator's role is clearly expansive, reaching far beyond the traditional classroom. But what about those less visible roles? The ones that are absolutely foundational, ensuring the very environment for learning is maintained. I'm thinking here of the janitor.
Ah, yes. An essential role.
Absolutely. This noun describes someone whose job is cleaning and taking care of a school or other building. The example from our material is very telling, I think. The janitor's hard work often goes unnoticed, but it is essential to maintaining a healthy environment. They really are the unsung heroes of cleanliness, aren't they?
They absolutely are. And this raises a really important question, I think, about how all roles, even those not directly involved in instruction, contribute to the holistic educational experience.
The whole ecosystem, like you said.
Precisely. The janitor's role isn't just about keeping things tidy. It's fundamentally about creating and maintaining a conducive learning environment. Think about it. If a school isn't clean, if it isn't safe, if it isn't well maintained, maybe there are distractions from unhygienic conditions or safety hazards, well, that directly impacts student well-being, their ability to concentrate, and the overall functionality of the institution.
Makes perfect sense. You can't learn well if the environment's poor.
Exactly. Their seemingly behind-the-scenes work is truly foundational. It underpins the entire educational endeavor, ensuring that students and staff have the optimal conditions they need to thrive and focus on learning.
You're right, it's about the whole ecosystem of a school, every part playing its role. Moving from maintenance now to mastery, our next word is scholar. A scholar is a noun describing someone who has, a lot of knowledge about a particular subject, especially in the humanities. For example, she is a scholar whose research has significantly contributed to our understanding of classical languages.
A classic example.
This term really emphasizes that depth of knowledge and a rigorous intellectual pursuit, doesn't it? Especially with that explicit connection mentioned to the humanities.
It really does. And what's truly insightful here, I think, is that being a scholar isn't merely about possessing a vast amount of knowledge, though that's part of it. It's crucially about actively contributing to that knowledge.
Ah, the contribution part.
Yes. Through original, rigorous research, through critical analysis, and through sustained intellectual inquiry. It speaks to a profound, often lifelong dedication to a particular field of study.
And the humanities link.
Well, the emphasis on humanities in the definition is quite telling. These fields like classical languages, philosophy, history, literature, they often involve deep intellectual interpretation, a really nuanced understanding of human experience, and a willingness to challenge existing paradigms. A true scholar pushes the boundaries of what is known, often dedicating their lives to a profound understanding and advancement of their chosen subject.
Pushing boundaries. I like that. Now, let's shift gears a bit to a term that often carries, let's be honest, a negative connotation, but it's important we understand it fully. Dropout.
Right.
This noun refers to someone who leaves school or college before finishing their studies. The example from our material, though, offers a more hopeful perspective, I thought. The dropout decided to enroll in a vocational training program to gain new skills and improve his job prospects.
That's a key nuance.
It certainly challenges the common perception that dropping out is always some kind of dead end, doesn't it? What are some of the less talked about reasons someone might choose that path? And what does it tell us about alternative educational journeys?
That's a really vital perspective to bring in because the reasons behind dropping out are incredibly complex and multifaceted. They rarely fit a single, simple narrative. It's crucial to challenge that singular, often quite judgmental stereotype.
Absolutely.
We see individuals leave traditional educational paths for all sorts of reasons: financial difficulties, family responsibilities, mental health challenges, or sometimes simply a realization that the conventional academic structure just doesn't align with their learning style or their career aspirations.
So, not always a negative choice, necessarily.
Not necessarily a failure, no. And the example of vocational training brilliantly highlights that leaving a conventional path doesn't always signal the end of learning or career prospects. In fact, for many people, vocational programs, apprenticeships, or even entrepreneurial pursuits can offer highly effective, practical, and incredibly direct routes to skill acquisition and meaningful employment.
Right, those second chances or just different paths.
Exactly, providing valuable second chances or simply different first chances for individuals to engage with learning on their own terms. It really speaks to the diverse pathways to success that exist beyond a linear academic trajectory.
That's a really vital perspective to consider, acknowledging the myriad of paths people take. And related to the idea of not attending school, we have truant. Now, this noun specifically refers to a student who does not have permission for not attending school.
The key is without permission.
Exactly. The example highlights the consequences. Being truant can lead to serious academic consequences and disciplinary actions. How does this fundamentally differ from simply skipping, which we'll actually discuss later? And why is this distinction so crucial for educational institutions?
Well, what's fascinating here is that absolute emphasis on without permission in the definition of truancy. Being truant isn't just about missing a class or an event, it's specifically about an unauthorized absence from mandatory educational attendance.
Okay, mandatory and unauthorized.
Right. And schools track truancy not primarily for punishment, although that can happen. It's because it's often a significant red flag for underlying issues, whether they're academic struggles, social difficulties, disengagement, or even problems within the home environment.
So it's an indicator.
It can be, yes. Consistent attendance is absolutely fundamental to academic progress. It ensures students don't miss crucial sequential learning, they can participate in discussions, and they develop the discipline of regular engagement. So schools use disciplinary actions not just to deter truancy, but crucially to intervene, to try and address those root causes, and to get students back on track. It's a systemic concern, really.
That makes perfect sense. It's about the systemic impact and the school's duty of care. Okay, let's take a short pause there before we dive into our next section. All right, we're back. Let's move into our second section now. The dynamics of engagement and disciplinary actions. These are the processes and actions that really define how students interact with the educational system, everything from gaining entry to potentially facing consequences.
Mechanics of the system.
Exactly. Our first word here is admission. This noun is defined as the permission given to someone to become a student of a school, enter an organization, etc. The example given is actually about a concert. Admission to the concert is included with the purchase of a festival pass.
Right, a broader context there.
But let's apply this directly to education. What makes admission such a significant process in the academic world? It's more than just buying a ticket, clearly.
Oh, absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, in an educational context, admission is far more than just getting a ticket. It's the fundamental gateway to formal learning and intellectual growth within that institution.
The gateway.
It's the precise point where a college or university grants permission to an individual to join their academic community. And this process often involves rigorous applications, meeting specific academic criteria, demonstrating certain aptitudes or skills, and it can be highly competitive, especially for selective programs or universities.
So that permission aspect is key.
It's paramount here, yes. It signifies that there's a comprehensive evaluation process, and frankly, not everyone who applies is granted entry. It's the first major hurdle for many aspiring students, and it really shapes their academic trajectory right from the start.
And once you have that admission, your attendance becomes absolutely key. This noun simply means the state of being present at an event or a place. Our material gives a business example. The company encourages attendance at team meetings to ensure effective communication and collaboration. How does this translate to its crucial, often non-negotiable role in education? Why is just showing up so fundamental?
Well, what's truly illuminating here is the profound and direct correlation between consistent attendance and academic success in pretty much all educational settings. Unlike, say, an optional work meeting, in school, being physically present is often non-negotiable for several critical reasons.
Such as?
Well, it ensures understanding of sequential things often build on each other. It facilitates active participation in discussions, and it allows students to benefit from direct instruction and immediate feedback from the educator.
Right, you miss that if you're not there.
Exactly. And beyond just receiving information, it also helps students develop those crucial life skills. The discipline of punctuality, responsibility, consistent engagement skills that are invaluable later on. So why is it so important? Because active participation and regular, uninterrupted exposure to the material are fundamental to comprehension, to developing critical thinking, and overall skill development. It directly impacts grades and long-term learning outcomes.
Building on that, sometimes a lack of attendance or maybe other rule breaking can lead to detention. This noun is a type of punishment for students who have done something wrong, preventing them from going home at the same time as others.
A familiar concept for many.
Indeed, the material clarifies its purpose. Detention is often used as a disciplinary measure to deter students from breaking school rules. It's a common disciplinary measure, true, but how effective do you think it actually is? And what are its intended psychological impacts?
Well, this raises an important question, doesn't it? About the effectiveness and the whole philosophy behind various disciplinary strategies. Detention serves primarily as an immediate consequence, designed to deter students from repeating infractions.
So deterrence is key.
That's usually the main goal. The why behind its implementation is typically twofold. Firstly, it aims to provide a structured period for reflection on the misbehavior, emphasizing the importance of adhering to school rules for the benefit of the entire learning community.
Okay, reflection time.
And secondly, it imposes a minor but tangible deprivation, usually loss of free time, which acts as a disincentive. Now, its effectiveness, that can vary widely depending on the student, the specific situation, the underlying issues.
Sure, it's not one size fits all.
Not at all. But it's widely used because it keeps students within the school environment, allowing for supervised time to consider their actions and the potential impact on their academic journey and their relationships with peers. It's primarily a tool for behavioral correction.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, from punishment to recognition, let's talk about something much more positive. To confer. This verb means to give an official degree, title, right, etc. to someone. The example from the material is perfect. The university conferred a bachelor's degree on the graduating students.
A significant moment.
Absolutely. This highlights the formality and the profound official nature of the act, doesn't it? It's not just giving a degree.
No, exactly. And what's truly fascinating here is the immense significance of this act. It's a formal recognition of achievement, the culmination of years of dedicated, often arduous study. Degrees and titles aren't simply given, they are conferred, which really implies a solemn, official act by an institution of higher learning.
Right, the institution's authority.
Exactly. An institution that has meticulously evaluated the student's mastery.
Yeah.
It underscores the weight and authority of the university in granting such a prestigious mark of accomplishment. It symbolizes the student's rigorous intellectual journey, their mastery of a defined body of knowledge, and their successful navigation of a demanding academic pathway. It's a formal validation of their intellectual growth and capability.
A powerful word, confer. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum from conferring a degree, we have the verb to expel. This means to force someone to leave a place, organization, etc. Our material gives a stark example. The school expelled him for cheating.
A very serious outcome.
Extremely serious. It indicates a major breach of rules. What kind of offenses typically lead to such an extreme measure? And what are the underlying reasons institutions resort to something like expulsion?
The severity of expulsion as a disciplinary action absolutely cannot be overstated. Institutions typically resort to such measures only for the most egregious offenses acts that fundamentally undermine the academic integrity, the safety, or the core values of the school community.
Like cheating, as in the example.
Severe instances of cheating or plagiarism, yes. Also, violent behavior, harassment, or perhaps repeated, unaddressed disregard for foundational rules. Now, why do they do this? Primarily, it's to maintain the sanctity of academic honesty, to ensure the physical and emotional safety of other students and staff, and really to uphold the institution's fundamental principles.
So protecting the community and its values.
Precisely. Expulsion signals that the students' actions are basically irreconcilable with the expectations and the environment of the school, leading to their permanent removal. And, frankly, it often has a significant impact on their future educational prospects.
Right. It's about preserving the integrity and safety of the learning environment for everyone. Now, earlier we touched on truant. Let's distinguish that clearly from to skip. This verb means to not do an activity on purpose, particularly one that one is supposed to do or usually does.
Okay, the on purpose is interesting there.
It is. The example from our material is broad. Feeling overwhelmed with tasks, she chose to skip the optional after-work event. But we can easily apply this to an academic context, like skipping a lecture, maybe. What's the key difference in nuance and consequence here compared to being truant?
What's truly fascinating here is that crucial nuance of intent and permission that sharply differentiates skipping from being truant. To skip an activity, as the definition suggests, implies a conscious, intentional choice.
Right, you decide to do it.
Exactly. Perhaps made for personal reasons, like feeling overwhelmed, like in the example, or prioritizing another task, or simply opting out of something optional. Now, while skipping can still have consequences, maybe you miss important information or even affect a grade, it doesn't carry the same disciplinary weight or systemic concern as truancy.
Because truancy is unauthorized.
Precisely. Truancy specifically refers to an unauthorized absence from a mandatory school activity. So you might skip an optional lecture or a study group session maybe, but you would be considered truant if you missed an entire mandatory school day without any official permission. It's the presence or absence of that institutional permission that really defines the severity.
That distinction is absolutely crucial for C1 level understanding. Finally, in this section, we have to flag. This verb means to put or draw a mark on something to make it more noticeable. The example given is about an editor. The editor decided to flag significant quotes in the manuscript for potential use in promotional material.
A common practice in editing.
But how does this apply in a student's academic context, and why is it actually such an effective study technique?
Well, what's truly fascinating here is the practical and indeed quite powerful application of flagging in a student's own research, writing, and study process. For students, to flag important information, maybe in textbooks, notes, or research papers, means actively engaging with the material.
So it's active, not passive reading.
Exactly. Identifying key passages, arguments, or data points specifically for later retrieval. Now, why is this practice so incredibly helpful? Well, it actively aids memory and recall during revision periods. It helps streamline the process of extracting critical information when you're writing essays or preparing presentations, and it allows for efficient prioritization when you're dealing with dense material.
Makes sense. Helps you find things again quickly.
Right. It's a fundamental active learning and study skill. It transforms passive reading into an interactive process that highlights what truly resonates or what is most important for you to remember and utilize later on.
That's a habit every learner should probably adopt. Okay, another good place for a quick breather. All right, let's pivot now to our third section, academic journeys and higher achievements. These are the milestones and the structural elements that really define higher education and academic progression. We start with a pretty formidable piece of academic work, the dissertation.
The big one for many.
Indeed. This noun is a long piece of writing on a particular subject that a university student presents to get an advanced degree. Our material adds a key detail. The university requires students to defend their dissertation before a committee. This truly is a capstone project for many, isn't it? Symbolizing the culmination of years of intense study.
Absolutely. And what's profoundly insightful about the dissertation is the rigorous and multifaceted process involved. It's far more than just a long paper. It demands extensive original research, sophisticated critical analysis, and the unique ability to contribute genuinely new knowledge or perhaps a novel perspective to a field of study.
So originality is key.
Originality and rigor, yes.
Yeah.
And the defense component you mentioned, that is absolutely critical to this process. Why? Because it serves as the ultimate demonstration of intellectual mastery. It requires the student not only to articulate complex ideas coherently, but also to defend their methodologies, their findings, and their interpretations under intense scrutiny from a committee of expert scholars in their field.
Sounds daunting.
It can be. It's really the ultimate test of a student's intellectual independence, their scholarly rigor, and their capacity for sustained, deep inquiry before they are deemed worthy of that advanced degree.
And the ultimate advanced degree for many is the doctorate. This noun is simply defined as the highest degree given by a university. The example shows its career implications clearly. After obtaining her doctorate, she joined the faculty as an assistant professor at a prestigious university.
A common path.
This is truly seen as the pinnacle of academic achievement for many. What does earning a doctorate truly signify beyond simply being the highest degree? What's the substance behind it?
Well, connect this to the bigger picture. A doctorate signifies profound, specialized expertise and an unparalleled depth of knowledge within a specific field. It represents not just years of intense study, but often a significant period of original research and the demonstrated ability to conduct independent, scholarly inquiry that actually advances the field.
Advancing the field itself.
Yes. The example vividly illustrates its connection to career paths in academia and advanced research. Now, why is it so important in society? Well, holders of doctorates are often the individuals driving innovation, conducting groundbreaking research that pushes the boundaries of human understanding, and, crucially, teaching the next generation of scholars and professionals. They are fundamental contributors to the advancement of human knowledge and critical thinking.
That makes sense. Now, before you even get close to a doctorate, if you're pursuing higher education in the US, you might very well encounter the GRE. This noun is a test that must be passed in the US by students who want to continue their education after their first degree.
The graduate record examination.
Exactly. The example provides a typical scenario. She registered to take the GRE exam at a testing center near her university. This is a standardized test many graduate school hopefuls are perhaps painfully familiar with. What is the fundamental purpose of a test like the GRE in the whole graduate admissions process?
Well, what's particularly illuminating here is the underlying purpose of standardized tests, like the GRE. They are designed, essentially, to provide graduate admissions committees with a common objective measure, a way to evaluate the readiness of prospective students for advanced academic work, especially given the really diverse undergraduate backgrounds candidates might come from.
So it's about standardization across different backgrounds.
Largely, yes. Why is it such a common requirement for graduate programs in the U.S.? It primarily assesses analytical writing, verbal reasoning, and quantitative reasoning skills abilities considered pretty foundational for success in diverse fields of graduate study, regardless of the specific undergraduate major. It offers a standardized point of comparison and helps gauge a candidate's potential for abstract thought and critical analysis, ideally on an even playing field.
Okay. And its undergraduate counterpart very often is the SAT. This noun is a test that high school students take before college or university in the US. The example points to preparation. She registered for an SAT prep course to help her prepare for the exam and boost her scores.
Right, the Scholastic Assessment Test.
So, similar function to the GRE, perhaps, but for a different stage in a student's academic journey. How does the SAT fit into the broader college admissions landscape today? Its role seems to be debated sometimes.
It is debated, yes. Just as the GRE serves as a benchmark for graduate admissions, the SAT plays a similar, though, as you say, increasingly debated role for undergraduate admissions. It's one of the primary standardized tests historically taken by high school students in the U.S. to demonstrate their readiness for college-level coursework.
And the prep courses?
Well, why do high school students invest so much time and money in prep courses, as the example highlights? Because historically, a strong SAT score could significantly bolster a college application, demonstrating proficiency in critical reading, writing, and mathematics. Now, while many universities are adopting test-optional policies these days,
That's a big shift.
it is a big shift. But for many institutions, it still remains a factor, sometimes a significant one, that colleges use to compare applicants from a vast array of high schools and diverse backgrounds, attempting to standardize a very varied applicant pool.
Right, the standardization goal again. Now, when you actually start a new course, your roadmap is usually the syllabus. This noun is a document that outlines the topics, assignments, and expectations for a course. The example clearly lays out its contents. The syllabus for the psychology class lists the textbooks, course objectives, and schedule of lectures and exams.
The course Bible, some call it.
Yes. It truly is a student's guide, isn't it? But what makes it truly foundational? You suggested earlier, it's almost like a contract between the student and the instructor. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because beyond simply outlining tasks and deadlines, the syllabus acts almost as a pedagogical contract, a kind of foundational agreement between the instructor and the learners. It's absolutely crucial for managing expectations, allowing students to plan their time effectively, and understanding the course's scope and objectives right from day one.
Setting the scene.
Exactly. But perhaps more profoundly, it subtly communicates the instructor's teaching philosophy, the intellectual journey they envision for the course, and the specific expectations for intellectual engagement, which can vary wildly between disciplines and teaching styles. It sets the academic tone, provides transparency regarding grading policies, and outlines the responsibilities of everyone involved, ensuring a clear, structured path through the learning journey. It's really far more than just a list of dates and readings.
It really sounds like it. And often within that syllabus, you'll see a course broken down into smaller chunks, into modules. This noun is defined as a unit of study within a course offered by a college or university covering a specific topic or area of study. The example illustrates this well. The module on financial accounting introduces students to basic concepts and principles of accounting.
Breaking it down.
So a modular approach means dividing a larger course into these digestible building blocks. What are the pedagogical benefits of structuring learning this way?
Well, what's particularly insightful here are the significant pedagogical benefits of modular learning. Breaking down complex subjects into more manageable, focused units often makes the material far less overwhelming for students. And it usually allows for a more concentrated and deeper dive into a specific topic or skill set.
Makes sense. Less daunting.
Right. Why is this structure so effective, especially in higher education? It enables students to ideally master one concept or skill set before moving on to the next, which hopefully fosters a more solid, cumulative understanding. It also often facilitates self-paced learning within the module structure, provides clear benchmarks for progress along the way, and allows for greater flexibility in course design, potentially adapting to diverse learning needs. It's a very common and often highly effective way to structure advanced education, making large bodies of knowledge feel more accessible.
Excellent. That covers some key structural elements. Let's pause again. Okay, moving into our fourth section. Describing the learning experience, adjectives that define education. These are words that give us a deeper understanding of the very nature of learning itself, from how our minds actually work to the different kinds of programs that are available.
Right, the qualitative aspects.
Exactly. Our first adjective is cognitive. This term refers to mental processes involved in understanding, thinking, and remembering. The example makes it clear. Problem solving requires cognitive skills such as critical thinking and decision-making. This really gets right to the core of how our brains engage with and process information, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What's truly fascinating here is the central, indeed indispensable, role of cognitive processes in all forms of learning. Education isn't just about passively absorbing facts, not at all. It's fundamentally about actively developing, refining, and exercising our mental capabilities.
Exercising the brain.
Precisely. Why are skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and decision-making so essential? Because they allow us to analyze information effectively, discern patterns, form sound judgments, and apply knowledge flexibly across novel situations. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it underscores the brain's incredibly active and dynamic role in knowledge acquisition and manipulation. Education really at its heart aims to strengthen these very mental muscles, equipping individuals to navigate and make sense of an increasingly complex world.
Thinking beyond just the classroom structure now, we have the adjective extracurricular. This means not included in the regular course of study at a college or school. The example illustrates the balancing act. He balanced his academic coursework with extracurricular commitments, such as volunteering at a local charity.
Activities outside class.
Exactly. So activities outside the core curriculum. What's the true value of these activities in shaping a well-rounded individual, especially in today's demanding world? Are they just nice-to-haves?
Oh, I'd argue they're much more than nice-to-haves. This raises an important question about what truly constitutes a well-rounded education in the 21st century. Extracurricular activities are incredibly valuable for holistic development because they offer a different kind of learning that complements formal academics perfectly. Well, while academic coursework focuses primarily on intellectual growth and specialized knowledge, activities like volunteering, sports, clubs, or the arts help students develop a whole myriad of critical skills. Leadership, teamwork, effective time management, resilience, and often a deeper sense of community or social responsibility.
So, practical life skills often.
Very often, yes. Why is balancing these with academics, as highlighted in the example, so important? Because it provides crucial opportunities for personal growth, skill development, and self-discovery that go far beyond what can typically be learned in a traditional classroom setting. It contributes to creating a more complete, adaptable, and socially aware individual. They really bridge the gap between theory and the practical application of skills in a social context.
Makes sense. Sometimes, though, learning needs to be fast and incredibly focused. And for that, we use the adjective intensive. This describes something involving a lot of effort, attention, and activity in a short period of time.
Like a boot camp for learning.
Exactly. The example from our material perfectly captures this. She took an intensive English course to improve her language skills quickly. These programs are certainly demanding. What are the specific benefits and perhaps the challenges of this kind of high-intensity approach?
Well, what's particularly insightful here are the specific benefits, and indeed the inherent challenges, of these intensive learning environments. Why are such courses designed for rapid skill acquisition, like that intensive English course example? They essentially condense a significant amount of material and practice into a much shorter time frame than usual.
Cramming it in.
In a structured way, yes. It demands exceptionally high levels of concentration, dedication, and active engagement from the learner. Now, they're most effective when a learner has a very specific and immediate need to acquire skills quickly, perhaps before an overseas assignment, a critical exam, or a job requirement.
Okay, so goal-oriented.
Very much so. However, the challenge lies in the potential for burnout, definitely, and the need for rigorous self-discipline to absorb and retain information at such an accelerated pace. It's really about maximizing learning efficiency within a compressed period, but it's certainly not suited for everyone or every type of learning.
Fair enough. Moving to a truly fundamental skill, we have literate. This adjective simply means having the skills to read and write. The example highlights its profound importance. The ability to be literate is a fundamental human right and essential for participation in society.
Absolutely fundamental.
It really is foundational to so much else, isn't it? What's the broader societal impact of having a literate population beyond just the benefit to the individual?
Oh, the societal impact is immense. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the profound societal importance of literacy simply cannot be overstated. Why is it considered a fundamental human right, as that example emphasizes? Because the ability to read and write is the indispensable gateway.
Gateway to what?
To information, to effective communication, and to critical thinking in virtually every aspect of modern life. A literate population is absolutely essential for robust civic participation, allowing citizens to understand complex issues, evaluate information, and engage meaningfully in democratic processes.
Right, informed citizens.
Exactly. It's also foundational for economic opportunity, enabling individuals to access better jobs, training, and contribute more fully to the economy. Furthermore, it fosters personal empowerment, allowing individuals to navigate the world independently, express themselves clearly, and access a vast realm of knowledge and culture through reading. Without widespread literacy, many other forms of education and societal progress become incredibly difficult, if not completely impossible.
It really underscores its importance. Now, sometimes an institution or perhaps a program holds a particularly high standing, and we describe it as prestigious. This adjective means having a lot of respect, honor, and admiration in a particular field or society. Our example is from the world of golf. The prestigious golf tournament attracts elite players from across the globe.
Okay, applying that idea to education.
Exactly. How do we apply this to educational institutions or degrees? What are the factors that truly contribute to an institution gaining this coveted, prestigious status? And what does it actually mean for graduates who come from such places?
Well, what's particularly fascinating here is why certain universities or academic programs achieve and maintain a prestigious reputation. It's rarely just one single factor. It's usually a complex interplay of several things. A long history of academic excellence, often groundbreaking research output, the exceptional quality and renown of their faculty members, and significantly, the notable success and influence of their alumni network.
So, history, research, people, and outcomes.
Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Now, why does this matter in the broader societal context? Well, attending or graduating from a prestigious institution can open certain doors to career opportunities, provide access to powerful professional networks, and it's often perceived as a mark of high intellectual achievement and rigorous training.
Perception is key there, too.
Perception plays a role, absolutely. It reflects a societal value placed not just on perceived excellence, but also, sometimes, let's be honest, on exclusivity within education. It often sets a benchmark that other institutions aspire to.
Interesting point about exclusivity. Now, moving from the potentially purely academic to the intensely practical, we have vocational. This adjective means involving the necessary knowledge or skills for a certain occupation. The example reinforces this idea. Vocational qualifications demonstrate proficiency in specialized fields.
Right, focus on a specific job or trade.
Exactly. This contrasts quite sharply with purely academic studies, doesn't it? Why is this vocational pathway increasingly recognized as vital today?
Well, this raises an important question about the diverse and, I'd argue, equally valid pathways to skill acquisition and employment in our modern economy. There's definitely increasing recognition and importance placed on vocational education, precisely because it prepares individuals directly and specifically for particular careers and skilled trades.
Direct preparation.
Yes. Why is this significant, and why is it gaining prominence? Unlike broader academic degrees that often focus more on theoretical knowledge, vocational programs are typically highly practical. They concentrate on hands-on training, industry-specific certifications, and the exact skills needed for a particular job right now.
Like the dropout example earlier.
Exactly. We saw this earlier with the dropout, who found success in a vocational program. It highlights that these pathways are often incredibly effective, efficient, and absolutely necessary for meeting the demands of the modern workforce. They provide direct routes to productive and meaningful employment for many people.
Indeed, not every path to expertise is found solely in a traditional lecture hall. Okay, let's gear up for our final sections. All right, let's move into our fifth section, exploring academic settings and fields of study. Here we'll look at specific environments within education and also touch on some of the diverse academic disciplines you might encounter.
We're broadening the scope.
First up, the chair. Now, this noun in an academic context means the position that a university professor holds. The example is very clear. She was elected to the chair of the history department after demonstrating exceptional leadership skills. This is quite a specific and rather authoritative usage of the word, isn't it? Far removed from a piece of furniture.
Yes, very different. And what's particularly fascinating here is the profound significance of holding a chair in a university department. It represents much more than just being a senior teaching position. It signifies preeminent academic leadership, profound scholarly recognition within one's field, and it often involves substantial administrative and strategic duties as well.
Leadership and administration, too.
Absolutely. Why is it so important within the university structure? The individual holding the chair typically guides the department's research direction, oversees faculty development and hiring, shapes the curriculum significantly, and represents the department both internally and externally. They really embody both academic authority and significant administrative responsibility, profoundly influencing the intellectual direction and the overall culture of an entire academic unit.
A weighty position indeed. Now, for something a bit more lighthearted and maybe a stark contrast to the gravitas of a departmental chair, field day. This noun describes a day on which no classes are held and students take part in sports games.
Ah, the fun day.
Exactly. The example perfectly sets the scene. The highlight of the field day was the tug-of-war competition between the different grade levels. A classic, fun, non-academic school event. Why are these seemingly simple days actually quite valuable in the broader educational experience? Are they just letting off steam?
Well, letting off steam is part of it. But what's truly insightful here is the importance of intentionally incorporating recreational and physical activities into the academic year. Why are field days valuable beyond just being a fun break? They provide a much-needed mental and physical respite from the regular academic routine, which can be quite demanding, as we know.
True.
But more importantly, they serve as vital opportunities for fostering camaraderie, teamwork, and sportsmanship among students. It's a chance for students to engage outside the formal classroom structure, build school spirit, and develop social and emotional skills in a relaxed, often competitive, but hopefully always engaging environment. It contributes significantly to their overall well-being and helps create a more balanced school experience. It's a vital component of holistic development, really.
Building that community spirit, and closely related in name but with a distinctly different purpose, is the field trip. This noun is a trip made by researchers or students to learn more about something by being close to it.
Learning by doing, or seeing.
Exactly. The example highlights its educational value. Field trips offer students the opportunity to apply what they learn in the classroom to real-world situations. This is a stark contrast to the pure playfulness of a field day. What makes field trips such a potent tool for learning?
Well, we connect this to the bigger picture. Field trips are a prime and incredibly effective example of experiential learning. Why are they so crucial and potent? They fundamentally move learning beyond abstract theoretical concepts presented in a textbook or a lecture hall. They allow students to observe, interact with, and directly apply what they've learned in the classroom to practical, real-world situations.
Making it tangible.
Precisely. Whether it's visiting a historical site, a scientific lab, exploring a local ecosystem, or visiting an art museum, this hands-on experience significantly enhances engagement, deepens understanding, improves retention of information, and often sparks new questions and genuine curiosity. It makes the learning more tangible, more memorable, and certainly more relevant, effectively bridging that gap between academic theory and practical application.
Can't beat seeing it for yourself sometimes. Let's turn now to some foundational academic disciplines. First, algebra. This noun is defined as a branch of mathematics in which abstract letters and symbols represent numbers to generalize arithmetic. The example highlights its utility. Many real-world problems can be solved using algebraic equations and formulas.
Algebra, where math gets abstract for many.
It often is, isn't it? This is where mathematics starts to get more abstract and sometimes challenging for many students. What's the fundamental conceptual leap, would you say, from basic numbers, from arithmetic to algebraic thinking?
That's a great question. What's profoundly fascinating here is that conceptual leap from arithmetic, which we'll get to next to algebra. It moves us essentially from calculating how many of something specific to exploring how any instance of something works.
How any?
Oh, yeah. Arithmetic provides the concrete tools for direct calculation with known numbers. But algebra unlocks the ability to model universal relationships, to analyze patterns, and to solve problems not just with specific numbers, but with abstract thought. It's the moment mathematics becomes a powerful language for generalized reasoning and problem solving.
The language for patterns.
Exactly. This abstract framework allows us to represent unknown quantities, build equations that describe relationships, and derive universal solutions that apply to countless real-world scenarios, from engineering and physics to economics and finance. It transforms math from just a calculator into a dynamic intellectual tool for understanding the underlying structure of reality.
Powerful stuff. And as you mentioned, arithmetic is its foundation. This noun is a branch of mathematics that deals with addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc. The example reminds us of perhaps early struggles. He struggled with arithmetic in elementary school, but improved with extra practice.
The building block.
Truly the very earliest form of mathematics we learn. What's its enduring importance, though, even in an age where we all have calculators on our phones?
That's a key point. What's often overlooked, but critically important here, is that arithmetic, while it might seem basic, is the absolute bedrock of quantitative literacy for every single individual.
Yeah.
Why is mastering these fundamental operations, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, still so crucial even with modern technology?
Why indeed?
Because they're essential for navigating everyday life. From managing personal finances, understanding sales discounts, figuring out tips, to interpreting basic statistics you see in the news every day. And beyond that immediate practicality, a strong foundation in arithmetic provides the intuitive understanding of numbers and quantities, that number sense that serves as the indispensable prerequisite for tackling more advanced mathematical concepts like algebra, geometry, and calculus later on. It builds the foundational number sense upon which all higher mathematical reasoning is constructed. You can't build a house without a solid foundation.
Very well put. Now, let's explore a very broad yet profoundly important field: the humanities. This noun describes studies that deal with people and their behavior, such as language, philosophy, history, etc. The example emphasizes their contribution. The humanities play a crucial role in fostering critical thinking, empathy, and cultural appreciation.
The study of being human.
Exactly. This circles back nicely to our earlier discussion about the term scholar. What are the unique contributions of the humanities to a well-rounded education, especially perhaps in a world that seems increasingly focused on STEM fields?
Well, we connect this to the bigger picture. The humanities offer unique and absolutely invaluable contributions to a truly well-rounded education. Contributions that are often distinct from, but I would argue deeply complementary to, STEM fields. Why are these studies so vital, especially now? They help us understand the incredible complexities of human experience across different cultures and historical contexts. They cultivate critical thinking skills by teaching us how to analyze text deeply, interpret complex arguments, weigh evidence, and grapple productively with ambiguity, something algorithms aren't great at.
Grappling with ambiguity, interesting.
Yes. And crucially, they foster empathy by inviting us to step into diverse perspectives through literature, history, philosophy. And they nurture cultural appreciation by engaging us with art, music, ethics, and different ways of seeing the world. These capacities, critical thinking, empathy, cultural understanding, are absolutely essential for informed citizenship, ethical leadership, and for developing a deeper, more nuanced understanding of ourselves and others in our increasingly complex and globalized world. They truly equip us to be human.
Beautifully said. Now, moving from abstract studies to very concrete living situations, we have the residence hall. This noun is a college or university building in which students can reside. The example highlights a social aspect. The residence hall staff organizes social events and activities to foster a sense of community among residents.
Dorm life, basically.
Essentially, yes, living on campus. Beyond just providing a place to sleep and maybe study, what larger role do residence halls play in the overall student experience?
Well, this raises an important question about the holistic student experience, the part that happens outside the classroom. Residence halls are typically much more than just places to sleep or cram for exams. They serve as vibrant hubs for community building, for social development, and as critical support systems for students, especially those who are transitioning to university life, perhaps living away from home for the first time.
So community and support?
Definitely. Why are they so important? They facilitate crucial peer interaction, providing countless opportunities for students to build friendships, form study groups, learn to negotiate shared living spaces, and develop essential social skills. They also offer a structured yet independent environment for learning to live more autonomously, and often provide immediate access to important resources like resident advisors, academic support, counseling services, and various campus activities. They significantly contribute to a student's overall sense of well-being and academic success by creating a feeling of belonging and providing a built-in support network.
Right, that sense of belonging is key. Next, a very specific academic discipline. Theology. This noun is the study of religions and faith. The example links it directly to a career path. He pursued a career in theology to become a religious leader. What's the nature of theological study? What kind of intellectual rigor does it demand? Is it just about belief?
Well, what's particularly insightful here is the deep and often highly interdisciplinary nature of theological study. It's definitely not just about memorizing religious texts or doctrines, though that can be part of it. Theology rigorously explores belief systems, sacred texts, religious practices, rituals, and the historical and philosophical underpinnings of various faiths.
So history and philosophy are involved too?
Absolutely. It draws heavily from history, philosophy, ethics, sociology, anthropology, even literary studies to provide a comprehensive understanding of how religion has shaped human societies and individual lives throughout history and across cultures. Why is it a distinct and demanding academic field? It provides a critical academic framework for understanding profound questions of meaning, morality, purpose, and existence. It often prepares individuals not only for roles in religious leadership, as the example shows, but also for careers in education, interfaith dialogue, social work, and ethical commentary in the public sphere. It requires rigorous analysis and critical thinking.
Okay, much broader than commonly perceived. And on the scientific side of study, we have zoology. This noun is a branch of science that deals with animals. The example emphasizes its breadth. Zoology is a multidisciplinary field that intersects with ecology, genetics, and evolutionary biology.
The study of the animal kingdom.
Indeed. This sounds like a field that must be constantly evolving with new discoveries.
Oh, absolutely. What's genuinely fascinating here is the scientific rigor and the inherently multidisciplinary nature of zoology. Why is it so crucial in our understanding of the planet? Well, it's essential for comprehending biodiversity, the sheer variety of life. It helps us understand animal behavior, the complex functioning of ecosystems, and the broader natural world in general.
And its connections.
As the example highlights, it's not a siloed discipline at all. It constantly connects with other cutting-edge fields like ecology, genetics, molecular biology, paleontology, and evolutionary biology. This interconnectedness allows zoologists to tackle grand challenges like conservation biology, understanding disease transmission between animals and humans, unraveling the mysteries of evolution, and adapting to climate change impacts. It provides a comprehensive and constantly evolving understanding of life on Earth and the incredibly intricate interactions within it.
Fantastic overview. We have just one more section to go. Finally, we've reached our last section, section 6, unconventional absence. Here we'll look at a term that describes an absence, but it carries a specific, often quite serious implication. That word is AWOL. Yes. This adjective means of a person not attending a place one was supposed to or leaving an obligation without any notice or permission. The example broadens its usage beyond its common military origin. Last week, she went AWOL from the project, leaving her team in a difficult situation.
Right. Used outside the military now.
Definitely. How does this term convey a different and usually more serious connotation than simply being truant or deciding to skip something? What's the extra weight here?
Well, this raises an important question about accountability and responsibility, doesn't it? Particularly in collaborative settings like professional projects or even academic group work. While AWOL certainly originated in a military context, meaning absent without leave, its usage has definitely expanded significantly into civilian life.
We hear it quite often.
We do. What's truly illuminating here is how it differs in severity and implication from truant or skip. AWOL implies a much more severe breach of commitment or obligation. Not only is there an absence, but is one that occurs without any prior notice or permission, and crucially, often with a direct and detrimental impact on others.
The impact on others is key.
It really is. As seen in that project example, going AWOL highlights a profound breakdown in communication and suggests a perceived abandonment of duty or responsibility. It leads to significant disruption and almost always negative consequences for colleagues, the team, or the organization left in the lurch. It carries a much stronger implication of irresponsibility and a deliberate shirking of obligation than merely missing something, even without authorization like truancy. It often implies a lack of consideration for the team.
That makes the distinction very clear. Wow, what a deep dive that was, seriously. We've navigated a truly comprehensive word list today, haven't we?
We certainly covered a lot of ground.
We really did. Moving from the people who shape our learning experiences, like principals and educators, right through to the very nature of academic achievements, like doctorates and dissertations, and those subtle concepts that define how we learn, like cognitive skills or modular learning. We've explored everything from the principal's dynamic vision to the precise nuance between being truant and skipping a class, and even the structure of academic thought within fields like the humanities or theology.
It's a rich vocabulary.
It absolutely is. And understanding these C1 level terms related to education, it isn't just about, expanding your vocabulary list. It's really about gaining a far more nuanced understanding of the complex, constantly evolving world of learning itself.
Deeper comprehension.
Exactly. It enables you, the listener, to communicate more precisely, to articulate your thoughts with greater clarity, and importantly, to grasp deeper insights when you encounter these terms, whether that's in academic discourse, professional settings, policy discussions, or even just in everyday conversations about schools or universities.
Language shapes understanding.
It really does. So, thinking back over everything we've discussed, what stands out to you from today's discussion?
Yeah.
Which of these words, perhaps, will you start listening for more carefully, or maybe even begin using yourself with new confidence and precision in your own conversations about the world of education?
And if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, it just underscores the profound power of language in shaping our reality, doesn't it?
Right.
Every specialized field, and education is certainly one, has its own unique and intricate lexicon, its own specific vocabulary.
Absolutely.
And truly mastering these terms isn't just about simple memorization like cramming for a test. It's really about unlocking a more profound understanding of the complex systems, the nuanced roles people play, and the abstract ideas that these words represent. Which I think raises a final important question for reflection. How does the precise language we use to talk about education and the learning process itself actually shape our very perception of its value, its inherent challenges, and its countless pathways to personal and societal growth?
That is a fantastic question to leave our listeners with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the language of learning. Until next time, keep that curiosity alive and keep exploring.